And we are live. The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Let's go back in time. Let us rewind. Big news, NHL Rewind 94 has launched on all the consoles. I think this is a month old, but it's just showed up in the Xbox Game Pass, which means for me, this is this is new. This is just a quick shout out to gaming dads. If you hadn't heard or anything else, if you remember the NHL 94 for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, Jeff, are you familiar with that title?
Yes, actually, yes. You're showing gameplay, so it's kind of bringing me back to
Yeah.
good
So,
old NHL.
sometimes called like the greatest hockey game ever created. But
Yeah,
man, like it. So NHL Rewind '94, EA launched a complete total throwback to it. It's not a remake. It's not an update. It's not a like it is as if they just took the code off the cartridge, added Ovechkin, and then shipped it out to modern consoles. I I am talking no online play. There will be no updates over the air. There's no gaming mechanics. There's no like cards or dumb like career mode. It is
perfect.
just bit for bit the exact game. There is, in fact, do you have a widescreen TV?
I do, yes.
That's a shame because this does not play widescreen.
Oh,
There's they
yeah.
It will shove bars on either
My
side as you're
God.
playing it. Man, I got
4-3.
it. I can't describe how much of a trip it was to go back and play it, especially on the modern console. It's just like an absolute blast. Now the way you get it is a bit, I don't want to call it controversial. Initially it was tied as a pre-order bonus if you
Oh.
bought NHL 21, aka NHL 20, aka NHL 90, 19, aka NHL
You just keep
18.
going down the years. Yeah. Whenever your kids were born, there's an NHL for it.
Yeah, but even better, just these sports games, don't have much updates, but some people adore them. If you pre-ordered, you get this game for free. You can now purchase it separately, but it came across my radar. I'd kind of thrown it. I knew about it. I had cast it off. You know what? I'm not going to pre-order it, so I guess I'm never going to get it. But it just showed up on the Xbox Game Pass, and it is stunning. If you guys have any place in your heart for the old NHL games on Genesis or SNES,
Yep.
you owe it to yourself to give this one a shot.
Yep. And play it on your next gen system.
Yeah, play it, play it on your $2,000 scalper
There you go.
PS5.
Perfect. It's a
It's
great
what it's
game.
meant for.
Frame rates.
All the frames, yeah. HDR 120
That's right.
120 frames for all 15 pixels on screen. That was just a quick shout out for that. Now, uh, where this is not going to show up is in the Game Awards for 2020, which
Yeah.
Jeff, you had to mention to me. I didn't even notice it. Uh, they they announced the nominees for the Game Awards 2020.
Yeah. If you go to the Game Awards website, it's run by Jeff Keighley, and it's a pretty popular show. I think it was had a wider audience than the Oscars last year, so almost
Whoa,
by double. So
jeez.
it's quite a bit, or people are at least interested in it. I don't think many gamers have, their type of award shows. So this is something for us. This is great. But all the nominees, there's no real surprises. I think we could probably name
Mm.
everybody here. There's your Last of Us Part 2s and Dooms and Final Fantasy 7s and
Goes to Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, which recently won the Player's Choice. It was neck and neck for
Mm.
Last of Us, but it came out on top. Hades is probably the newest of the bunch. But yeah, it seems like a pretty kind of calming way to end the year, which is probably a good thing considering 2020 has kind of been in the garbage for most of it. But as I picked through the list, there was a couple that worked for the kids and me over the year, and probably number one of that is Animal Crossing.
Mm.
They always go back to that game, mainly because they always update it. So there's always new stuff to get. and pulled them back in. So Animal Crossing is a big one that's been in our house as part of this kind of year-end special, and they've gotten into the more popular ones too with Among Us. Obviously,
Okay.
can't stop playing that one. My oldest is on. We gave him one of our old phones, so even it's like an iPhone 7. He's playing Among Us on there, no problem. But he's always zip into that one. Like
Right.
that's his go-to.
That's the game he plays. Okay.
Yeah, but my youngest is more into the games I like, which is great. So
Excellent.
he was
Very
zipping a lot.
good.
Final Fantasy VII remake. He got pretty far in that. So I was very proud of him. He's going back to it now and then, but he, as I said last show, he just finished Miles Morales. He was just captivated by that one, which is nominated. I think the voice actor is nominated at the Game Awards. So I got kind of a divergent gaming set of kids. Like I got the one that kind of likes the mobile like chat window stuff, and then the other one that kind of likes the more intense stuff. So it's good.
That's good because you can give one like an iPad, you give the other one
Yeah.
access to the PS5, and never the
Perfect.
twain shall meet. Or even
Yeah.
better, the PS4, and then that leaves you the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you nailed it pretty well. I think it's just that it's disappointing isn't the right word. It's just if you had said, "Who do you think will show up on the Game Awards this year?" Like, oh, okay, yeah, Doom Eternal, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part Two. Like, just like it'd be very easy to go this one, this one, this one, this one, and
Yeah.
you look through this, you're like, oh yeah, they're all there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones. I mean, it's nice to see. I'm very happy to see Hades. I've been getting into that game and I adore it. Like it really is a beautiful game. So it's kind of nice to see that rewarded. And not as a knock against the other ones. I think Ghost of Tsushima, the Final Fantasy remake, we were obviously very thrilled at. Doom Eternal. It's funny that I haven't seen the same level of hype and praise that I did for the first Doom.
Yeah.
When the first Doom came out, every gaming person that I knew, even like close to gaming, was talking about Doom Eternal. Or sorry, Doom, the original one. And now this Doom Eternal seems to kind of... It did fine. Like I heard it's quite a great game, but it just didn't seem to have the same type of impact on the gaming world.
Lightning doesn't strike twice kind of thing.
But so I'm happy obviously to see there's games we have here like Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That's one that I'm working through right now, so I'm happy to see that on there. That is quite a beautiful title. Spiritfarer, which I may have mentioned on the show before, it is a hand-drawn and animated game where you are ferrying people on a literal ship as they transition into the so they've just died, you're kind of in an in-between place, and then you're transitioning into the afterlife. So you're getting to know these characters, you're helping them resolve things, and they go up. So it's really nice to see that nominated in a few places.
Sounds very depressing.
It's not depressing. It's sad but beautiful. So not depressing would be the way. I think the way to think about that. Last of Us to me would be depressing.
Oh yeah, it is, and
Right.
yeah, brutal, pretty brutal. So.
Spiritfarer is kind of like that happy sadness where it's like I enjoy this type of sadness.
Right.
But I think we found that pretty surprising going through. I think we saw Fall Guys. I think that's probably at least the only surprise hit, in so much as like that game came out of nowhere and just lit up the internet and gaming for quite a while.
Then kind of died right away.
Yeah, I haven't right.
Or
I've
maybe
not
people are playing it. I don't know. My kids aren't, so I'm not sure. I don't know.
So that it's so interesting. Like it was. It's worth a look for gaming dads. Like if you go over to, as Jeff said, the website, thegameawards.com, take a peek. But generally, it's sort of unsurprising, and I don't want to say boring because that really diminishes it too much. But
Yeah.
just it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. I think that's what we need, though. Just,
Yeah.
It's fine. That's enough shock and awe for 2020.
Yeah.
So.
Now for yourself, though, so if your house, from the games that you were playing with your kids, was running a gaming awards, so from the games that your house kind of focused on, like what would your games of the year look like? And not again, the year not as in the ones that released, because we're gaming dads, where you tend to have a bit of a backlog. But what was your household kind of into this year?
I will say I'll still mention Animal Crossing. That was a big one that we all kind of played together. but also Diablo 3.
Man, oh, that's right.
Still on that.
I remember giving you a bit of trouble about that because it's
Yeah,
like, seems a bit old for.
it definitely is. But no,
It sure is.
and my gripe with it is more about, it gives each character or each player ability to go into the menu at however many times they want. So it's just constant menu changing of what loot they picked up. But we are totally still in that, and we always work our way back to that. I guess because it's such a good co-op experience. You're all against fighting hell, so I think it unites us as a family.
Out of one true,
Yeah,
one true quest.
that's
That's
right.
yeah, it's nice that it comes back. I mean, I've had some of my friends got really into it, and they were playing the seasons.
Yeah,
They would re up every month or whatever, however the cycles would work. So it seems like it gets its hooks into you. Then it's a very satisfying thing to return to, and kind of sounds like that's happened in your house.
yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, that's exactly what's happened all throughout 2020 and years past. So
Man, Diablo 3, a game
yeah,
from, geez, what is that, 4 years ago?
I don't know. I'm trying to think if my second kid was born. I'm sure I'm sure he was. Um, yeah, it's
So,
it's an old one, but I don't know.
so
It's
Animal Crossing,
very different.
Dia-
Animal
Diablo
Crossing
3.
Diablo
It's like,
3.
yeah, it's quite the roller coaster of games you got going on.
Yeah, yeah. I think those are the big ones. I mentioned a couple others that my kids were playing, but I think those ones we always come back to, and I think it's kind of that staple that we return to. But how about yourself? What's any Smash Brothers in your house? What's going on? Lego
Yeah,
games?
it's like, well, it's funny that you mentioned that because it's unfortunately my kids kind of been bouncing off of Smash Brothers.
Oh no.
I've tried. We do our, whenever we do our gaming time, I try to steer him towards it because I like that game very much.
Yeah.
But he's not very interested. He's gone back to the Lego games.
Oh, that's a shame.
Lego Marvel, even better. Like the game is like badly optimized. It's poorly designed. Like, I don't.
Ah.
It's another one of those games I don't like. Oh, even better too. He went back to the Mario game that I detest.
Oh no.
And what'll generally happen is like, if he's getting like a little bit of YouTube as we're cooking dinner or something, he'll gravitate towards families playing games, and often it's that Marvel game, the Lego game, or Mario.
Okay.
Very often. So that I
Yep.
think that kind of just gets it in his head. Now, thankfully, he's actually also started to get back into Luigi's Haunted Mansion 3.
Oh good. Okay.
Thank goodness, because
Yeah.
that game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I had to sum up the year, it'd have to be Smash Brothers, which I'm hoping we'll kind of come back to, because the enthusiasm he had for it when he liked it was just unlike any other game. But now
Yeah.
it's got to be the Lego games again, Lego Marvel.
He'll
It's
come
just got
back. He'll
it's
come
our
back.
house's it is our house's Diablo, Jeff.
Yeah, that's right.
Except I don't like it.
Oh
I
no.
don't get to enjoy it like you do. But so these are games that we like, and these are games that we've obviously kind of like invested in and quite enjoyed.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a story you'd mentioned where you had a conversation with someone online about just because if you don't like the game, it's just because it's not for you, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't complain about it.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. Again, one of our followers, and it was more just the game developers make these games, and if you don't like them, you just go to a different game. And I think it was more about, well, I had mentioned just that we don't have the capacity to test those games, so I don't know if a game is
Mm.
for me or not. And it was specifically about Cyberpunk, just because it's such a large game, and I love Witcher 3, and I love CD Projekt Red and what they do, but again, a huge time sink. I'm not sure if it's right for me, and I have no way of testing it without pre-ordering or purchasing outright. And even some other people in the comments were, they're very interested in the Souls games, so I'm playing Demon Souls, and they just can't. They're not good at them, so they don't know if one's right for them or not because they don't have options available to them to kind of go in and test it out. So it was more about like, where have game demos gone, and how does this all work if we don't have options? And I think it's good to offer, especially gaming dads, options to kind of test out a game, especially if your kid wants one.
Oh,
and you can
geez.
kind of,
Right.
get a feel for it. If my son said, "Hey, I want Diablo 3," and I wasn't aware of what it was, I might, look it up online, watch a couple of videos, but I would still like to test drive it to see what options. Like maybe I could turn off the blood and gore. I don't know, some things off
Hmm.
for that without digging. That kind of popped in. That
Yeah.
could be, a worthwhile feature.
Yeah, I can kind of. I mean, I can obviously relay my own recent experiences where there was Luigi's Mansion, which I had picked up on a sale, but it's like a Nintendo sale, so it's still
Yeah,
$60,
that's right.
and
Yeah,
just did not capture it. We did not play a lot of that game, so it was a swing and a miss basically. And then now even with Smash Brothers, again, like I'm happy I have that game. Like I will enjoy that game, so it's not like it's lost on both those games. But as far as like the family and the purchase, and if that was more something he had directed, I
yeah,
want this game, and then he doesn't do it. It's like, well, cool. I just lost $60 because I can't sell. I can't get money back, and it would have been nice to have that sort of grace period where it's like, all right, here's the first two levels,
yeah.
and let's give this a shot. So it becomes almost more incumbent with kids. I don't know if you've had that similar experience with your kids as well, where they wanted it, and then you just had to throw your hands up when they didn't like it anymore.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those games specifically on 3DS, which is
Mm.
even worse because there's no demos there, or if there are demos, they're timed demos. You get 10 chances and then it's over.
Oh,
So
weird.
it'll go away and you have to use another user profile. But I've had a couple games where they wouldn't play again, and I either have to make use of it or offer to sell it. Like, just don't let it sit there and see if we can move on from this. But even as we're talking about it, I'm wondering if game demos have kind of gone away in favor of like the game passes. So like you want
Mm.
your demo, subscribe to our service and you can taste the games that you want.
See, it's tricky because I'm trying to balance my perspective on it because I'm so bullish on Game Pass. Like I've been so enthused by this service and since getting the console. Like I was before. I mean, I had Game Pass before I even had the Xbox, the new Xbox, because I was using it on my PC and my
Right.
Android. But I can appreciate the problem of not owning the game because because as one of the lines on the UI is like, here's the games that are going away.
Right.
You are going to lose access to these games. Now you can purchase it. It's not like they're just going to delete the files.
Yeah.
You can like pony up and you get a discount because you're subscribed. But it is real that if you had, for instance, like your Diablo 3, a game that you are returning to like 3 years after initially getting it,
Yeah.
the chances of that always being on the service, that's not going to be there. Conversely, at least there's no big first step to get into any of those games. Here they all are. Download
Yeah.
as many as you please, play it, and then kind of see where you land. And then, you can always pony up if you want to have like the keep it in your library forever if it's threatening to go away.
Right.
So I don't know, like given given your thinking on that now and your lack of demos, like does that almost make it more compelling to you to get into the game streaming services, or what's your thoughts?
I think I think it would for myself. I
Mm.
don't think it would work for my kids mainly because I did mention that they do play some PS4 games and PS5 games, but they're really into Nintendo, and Nintendo has nothing like that. So they have a few games.
And they never will.
They never
Just
will.
like
They barely have an online service that I have discontinued because it's not worth it. But they have a few games that they've asked for Christmas, and again, Nintendo prices, like you mentioned. So, and one of them is like Paper Mario, which I
hmm.
have read good reviews on, but I don't know if it's for them. Do you know what I mean? Like they like Mario and they like the origami kind of style, but is the gameplay there and the battles are different and do they like the puzzles? I don't
Hmm.
know. And so there's a couple of those games where again, $80 price tag, Nintendo prices. I don't want
Yeah.
to get them that they,
Well,
something that they don't want.
so now what I could hear some people saying then would be the reviews or the playthroughs, because it's
Right.
funny that you mentioned Paper Mario. My son had actually caught onto a YouTube stream where, like, again, is one of those gaming families and they're playing Paper Mario,
Yep.
It's a bit more interesting too because it's actually usually it was like the father and the son, but now like it's just the son and the younger daughter.
Okay.
Like
Yep.
just the two kids are playing it, but they're going through Paper Mario, and
Right.
he was fairly engrossed in it. So I wonder, have you ever attempted to get your kids to watch some playthrough to get a taste of it and see like, oh, this is boring, or we still want it?
They've kind of, maybe not a playthrough, but more of a, they watch girlfriend reviews. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like the a
Oh,
channel devoted to like backseat gaming,
right. Yeah,
which
yeah.
is, it's great. It's given in a context that they kind of understand, and it's got jokes and stuff. But I think they just are so drawn to like the pictures of it, and the gameplay looks fun that somebody else is playing it, but I don't know if it'd work for them. It's kind of like seeing like pictures of a car, but I want to test drive the car. Like
Hmm.
I I think I need to kind of let them get into it. Um, so I think the streams and catching stuff like that is probably a good option. Again, a good tool to use. But again, I would just like something where they can kind of get in and see if,
Actually, play
yeah,
with
this isn't working.
it. So we had a service. Geez. So you have to think way back. This is back like the
Uh-oh.
360 days.
Okay.
And you and I, like, we were trying to do some game reviews, and we had this online rental.
Yes. Yes. What
So
was
I
that
remember,
called?
jeez, I don't even know if the thing still exists, and
Probably not.
I'd be curious to see if any gaming dads here know. Like, yeah, it was like a Netflix, but like the old Netflix where they actually would send you physical CDs. It was that
Yes.
except video games. So you choose, okay, here's my list. Send me a new video game, and then once you send back the one you're playing, they send you a new one.
Right.
So it's kind of like all access before there's all access.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that still exists because,
Oh,
like, man,
I
like,
don't
because
know.
depending on the price and how the fundamentals of how it would work, it would almost be interesting. And if not, it looks like we have New Dad Gaming Co.'s brand new business venture into like,
Yeah, I don't know. Library's kind of taken over that service now. Like I can get games from the library the same kind of way. But the way this service worked is like you would set up for all the games that you want, and then you'd be in a queue. So whenever that queue kind of popped up, you got your game. So whether or not you had, I think there was a 1 or 2 game limit, but it was mailed to you, and then you had to mail it back. I was so worried about it being lost in the mail. That was another issue. Like not paying full
okay, so we
price.
have, okay, so we have 4 rental games. So that we have, so we're in Canada, so I bet the States would have a lot more options than we have up here. But I am seeing GameAccess.ca.
Yeah,
Um,
the games don't look really new though.
yeah, it looks like they've not really been updating very much. We have
There's
Mass
so
Effect Andromeda,
and a Wii U game. Wait,
the Wii U version of Zelda Breath of the Wild, PS3
oh,
version of Yakuza 4, the
whoa.
Wii version of Mario Super Sluggers.
I think we should sign up on stream. Just see what we get.
I, jeez, okay, so the problem would be here. Now I'm looking at this website for the audio people. Obviously, I mean, those are some old games. We can't imagine it's live. They do have a holiday bundle
That's true.
up top saying like choose up to 5 current generation games in the G Shop and email us your selection for up to 50% savings.
You never know.
Man, maybe.
It'd be funny if it was just a timed ad and it just comes up every December.
Let's see. Chat is offline. This might be a dead site. It's like,
Doom Eternal. I saw Doom Eternal, so something's there.
wait a minute, was it? Hold on.
Yeah, yeah. So
Are you sure you saw
the
Doom Eternal?
second row is Ori, too.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, they're in business. It looks like, kind of.
We no longer accept new applications. They are not.
Oh, never
So I
mind.
click the sign up button. It says we no longer accept new applications.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Yeah. So unfortunately, okay, so that's dead. GameFly.
But
Okay, so this is updated saying that your shipment may take longer to process due to the
Right.
pandemic.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay, that's current. Star Wars Squadron.
Yeah, below it's got Cyberpunk, so it's really new.
Oh, jeez. Hold on. Let's start free trial. Oh, for the service. Okay. Pathless. That just came out for PS5.
Yeah,
Super Mario 3D All Stars. Interesting.
that is an interesting one.
Okay, hold the phone. It's not available outside the United States. All right.
Okay.
Well,
Well, in the U.S.,
yeah, if
you
you're in
have
the U.S. and
options.
looks like there might be an option, Marvel Avengers. Yeah, sure. A banner came up advertising Marvel Avengers to rent. It's like I don't. They probably have a lot of copies in the back room.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So for our U.S. brethren, maybe that is an option. If you don't want to do game streaming, and let's see if they do have prices.
Well, it's really the Nintendo offerings, right? Like to to be able to grab those as a trial.
Yeah, I think,
That's something.
but I'd have to think even for the PS5 though. So if you got Valhalla, right, or even let's say Marvel Avengers, you want to try it out, and this service runs, let's call it $12 a month,
Yeah, something like
one
that.
for
Yeah.
one game out at a time. Okay, so I get Cyberpunk, I get Pathless, Super Mario 3D All Stars, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Cold War, Valhalla. This site has all the latest titles.
Yeah.
So for that $12 a month, you can at least try one of them, and A, beat it, be done with it, save some money, or B, test it, know that you want it, and purchase it, right?
Yeah.
So now, from a Canadian perspective, I think you might be out of luck, but it seems like
Yeah. It's usually
Americans
the case.
have some options. Oh, see, Immortals Phoenix Rising. This
Yeah.
game just had popped up, and that had seemed very. That actually looks really surprisingly good. I don't know if you saw any reviews of it.
Yeah, it did. It kind of looked like I don't want to say Fortnite style, but like kind of a almost Assassin's Creed Fortnite ish. Maybe not Assassin's Creed because it's more Greek mythology, right? Not Viking.
Well,
But it did look neat.
the comparisons that I saw with it was more around. It's like Breath of the Wild, but it's not going to take you like 80 hours to complete, and it has some of the does not have some of the worst mechanics as far as like stuff breaking.
Oh, good. That's
So when I
one
saw
thing.
that, it mentions those two things. It's a condensed world. It's not
Yeah.
so big. It's a lot of fun. It's beautiful. It's within Greek mythology, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It does not have a lot of the breaking mechanics. It has stamina, so it's still got that part to it.
You need something.
But that's okay. Like that, I didn't mind that part. I could not stand my weapons breaking. That was just a non-starter for me.
Especially as a dad when you take care of your stuff, right? Like
My kids are breaking stuff all the time. I don't
I
need my
don't-
game kids.
Exactly.
They're doing the same thing.
Yeah, that does look neat. Horrible name, but it does look neat. Like just call it Immortals. Immortals? That would have been
Yeah,
fine.
I mean they must spell Phoenix cleverly,
Yeah.
Fenyx.
Is that
But
the actual god
yeah,
spelling?
I doubt it. But I'll pitch that anyway. So like I've heard some the reviews have been great. I'd suggest dads check this one out if you, like me, bounced off or just weren't really all that enthused with how Breath of the Wild played. Or even honestly, the other truth too, if you're on PlayStation or Xbox and you don't have a Nintendo
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you want to kind of you want to participate in that type of game, I think that makes this game even more interesting in the sense that it's like your Zelda fix on a non-Nintendo system.
Yeah. Kind of
So-
speaks to Zelda's kind of expertise in this, right? With games like this. Not straight up copying, but borrowing elements and
But
With
it's an
Gen-
homage. It's
yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. It's just again options for gamers out there, and this actually might be one that because you're playing some gameplay footage and you're riding a reindeer or some sort of god deer thing.
God dear.
My kids might be very interested in this one, and it might be something for me as well. So that could be a good dad game.
That's right. So I think just to be, yeah, it was Ubisoft. Okay, I did want to like confirm that it was
Oh.
kind of nice to see that Ubisoft did this one, and
Yeah.
it's tight, it's well produced, it's being well reviewed, people are enjoying it. So it's kind of nice to see Ubisoft get just a non-controversial,
Kind of a
good
win.
game done.
Yeah.
You know,
And it'll be on sale in 3 weeks. So
I hope it comes to Game Pass. I don't know what this.
that's
Game
true.
Pass,
That's
Game
true.
Pass has ruined me in that way. It's like, hey, this game looks great. I hope it comes to Game Pass.
Ah,
I'm probably not going to buy it otherwise.
that's funny.
All right, but man, biggest shout out to gaming dads this week because there's a lot we'd like to hear from you. what are your thoughts on the Game Awards 2020? Like, is that kind of surprising? Does it have any meaning to you? Do you kind of shrug it off? Like, what's your thoughts on that? What are the biggest gaming? What are the biggest games for gaming dads this year? Like, what has your house been playing this year? In our houses, it seemed like it was Lego Marvel and Diablo 3.
Yeah.
So like, and Animal Crossing, but like, what is it for other folks?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just general thoughts about demos, how you might get access to games. Are you able to get enough of a sampling watching online? How are you ensuring that games you want to buy are playing well in your house? We'd love to hear any of your thoughts or questions so we can read those live on air, or even play some audio clips. Would be great to hear from you. But with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to get a hold of us with any of those previous thoughts or just for any other questions or concerns, you can find us at our website, newdadgaming.com. If you'd like to subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and any of the other podcasting networks. If you could rate and leave a review, it would help us out greatly as we try to grow the show and reach more gaming dads. And, maybe next year we can really skew the view as far as gaming awards. It's like, all right, all gaming dads, vote for Doom Eternal again. Let's screw them over. Let's do this. But until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old.
All right. See you next week.
See you.